Alright guys, believe it or not, I just recorded an entire um midweek update for you guys, and the recording did not save, so I'm gonna try to do this over again but as quickly as possible because I kind of fed up at this point. So at the beginning of this week I explained to you guys that we were on a downtrend on the pound, and we established the various highs and lows for the specific days and the highs and lows of the previous week. We started off the week somewhere around here, I'm not sure. Yeah, somewhere around here for sure, but I'm not sure exactly on which candle. Price pushed up and created a high at around 132.60, somewhere thereabouts. I took sells at this point, stop loss above the high, and we rode sells down into Friday's low, closed off, took 50 pips. Um, and this candle retested the high but couldn't break it. Took sells again, another 50 or 40 pips, somewhere about there. And I took sells off of the retest of the upper resistance of this trend line. At this point, if you notice, now this is specifically why I wanted to do this video, is to give you a little insight into why I established the highs and the lows, and they're so important, of the previous days and previous week. If you look here, this is marked off as Friday's low. Now you all saw me mark this off since on the weekend, right? Now, if you look at price action, price was unable to break this low at any point. We retested it twice. So we made this low on Friday, we pushed up, and we retested Friday's low on two occasions, and we were unable to break below. This signaled to me that the bulls were protecting this low. So at this point here, I oh as well, I just remembered I mentioned this in the video that I tried to record previously but did not save. This formation here is an inverse head and shoulders. See, we created the head. This is a bullish reversal signal, and at this area here would have been the ideal position to take buys up to retest the highs. um, but I missed the position all the way down here, but I got in somewhere. I mean, it's still a really good good position, but preferably I would have liked to get in on the wicks down here, but I got in somewhere along this bullish 1 hour candle and rode buys all the way up, and I think a lot of you all rode those buys as well. um, After creating that high, I took some sales even though price was very bullish. Once we created this high here just before Asian session open, or at Asian session open, placed my stop loss above the high, and I rode some sells down, not for the entire length, but I think I closed off from the time we touched Friday's high at 133.17. um, Price created some support down here, potentially just retesting this area that we broke out of, and caught buys up this morning to retest the highs. We closed up our profits here because I mean we were retesting the high, so we're not too sure if we're gonna break past the high or sell down. So it's always a good idea to close our profits up here. And price broke up and is currently trapped within this zone. I'm pretty sure I explained a lot more things in the video prior that I tried to record prior to this, but I really can't remember at this point. I would glance across at Euro JPY. A lot of you all benefited from this as well. We caught buys up at the start of the week. Um, because my bias was strongly bullish on this, I didn't sell it at no point during the week, so I caught buys from this area up. We came down and retested this, which was previously resistance, as support, and we caught buys up again, two positions on this trade. If you glance across to the pound USD, I really like the structure on this pair this week. I didn't establish the highs and lows for the previous days on this pair because my main pair is GBP JPY, and I did it on that, as you all could see. But I'm pretty sure this was a low for one of the days, and if you see that price came down and retested that low, which was a nice place to take a buy position, put stops below this candle here, and ride the wave up. I signaled to you guys when price was around this zone that the pound was attempting to break out of the downward trend. You could see that this was a perfect retest of that zone. You could have taken a buy position here, put stops below the this candle here, set that as your low, or even if you want to be more safe, this low here, and ride buys all the way up. I believe that was 100 pips. Yep, 98 pips, 100 pips. All right, so currently what do we see happening? Price is kind of trapped within, if you drop down to like the 30-minute or the 15-minute, 50-minute might look a little better, right? Price is kind of trapped within this zone. You could kind of make that range a little bigger. And what I'm gonna wait for is on market open. It probably may not happen at Asian session. I won't enter a trade within this zone as this is a pretty small range. I'd wait for price to break out to the top and catch a buys on a retest, or break down below and catch sells on a retest of this zone as resistance. So that was the pound USD, Euro GPY. We went through that. Did I? Yeah, I believe we did. And pound GPY. So that's it. Well, I think I mentioned also that this, I'm looking at this trend line here, because all a trend line is a ratio of buyers to sellers basically, right? So if this is the low that I'm marking this off as a low, as it's the next low on the trend line. So if once price could remain above this low, I believe that we're still bullish on the pound in this current trend that we're looking at here. So yeah, right. So we could either see a sell-off at this point and come down, retest this trend line at somewhere about here and catch buys up, or it's actually possible that we could break above this zone, retest here and catch buys up. And one thing to note, like you remember at the beginning of this week, I was stating that I'm very bearish on the pound, etc., etc. But I also stated not to marry a specific bias. So I think this was a perfect example to see how flexible we are, because I mean everybody benefited from these trades. So even though we were bearish, we saw that price was not breaking Friday's low at any point down here. So we were able to capitalize on that bullish movement and catch buys all the way up. I hope I went through everything that I was supposed to, but if not, I'll just put a little message in the group for you guys. So this was just a little quick update. So it is.